Sagittarius, welcome to the realm of astrology. This is a video about the long-term transits that you have been going through. I would recommend watching the video for your rising sign before you get to the other videos like your sun and moon sign, because I think the rising sign will make the most sense when it comes to this video. And I also want to let you know that I do daily video horoscopes that I post on my YouTube channel every single day. I do weekly video horoscopes that I post as well. And I also do monthly sun, rising sign horoscopes that are on my YouTube channel as well for you to watch. I also request you to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so that we can get started. Now, why I wanted to do this video is because, first let me tell you what this video is. So this video will give you an underlying assessment of the energies that you've been dealing with. These energies are the long-term energies. For example, Saturn is a 3-year cycle, 2.5, 3-year cycle. And where it transits in your particular house, the theme of your life for those 2.5, 3 years will be heavily influenced by Saturn. So no matter what changes day to day, no matter what changes month to month, that certain theme will stay with you for about 2.5, 3 years. So that's why if, sometimes you hear a reading that said this is a positive month and this is going to happen and that is going to happen, but you feel like you're required to work very hard in a particular area, that's because the underlying energies are demanding that work from you. So this video will give you the long-term energies that you have been dealing with. And the goal of this reading is so that you can make sense of your life on a more long-term basis. So I'll try to cover as much as I can, and let's begin. And another thing I also want to mention is that this video is for a 0 degrees Sag, right? Now, if you are close to that, then fine, this video might work for you. But if sometimes what happens is maybe your chart begins at end of Sag, say 28 degrees of Sagittarius is your ascendant. Now, watching a Sag video might not resonate with you completely because the time cycle will not match. So you may want to watch a video before you like Scorpio or a video after you like Capricorn to make more sense and figure out which resonates with you. Alternatively, if you know where your chart starts, then you'll know where the planets are. So then you can watch the video accordingly. Now, that being said, let me clean up the chart and we will talk about Saturn first. So Saturn Sagittarius is in your 3rd house, okay? Now, Saturn has been in your 3rd house since 2020, December. Now, wherever Saturn is in your chart, it's a 2.5, 3-year cycle. Wherever Saturn is in your chart for those 2.5, 3 years, you're asked to work very hard in that area. It demands hard work. It demands decisions. It demands definition to things. It demands putting things in order in that specific area of your life. Okay. Now, for you, Sagittarius, that is your 3rd house, as you can see on the chart. Now, Saturn is asking you to work hard towards, take decisions, put in order things connected to your immediate surroundings, to your siblings, to your thought processes, to communication, to writing, all these things it's putting in place. And this will happen till 2023 March, because Saturn is going to be in your 3rd house till 2023 March. Now going back, Sagittarius, till December of 2020. From 2017 to 2020 December, Saturn was in your 2nd house. So from 2017 December to 2020 December, it asked you to really work hard towards your finances, your self-worth, your values, your skills, your monetary possessions. And the hard work Saturn brings with it does not feel easy. Saturn also brings with it delays and disappointments. And the work you need put in during a Saturn transit, in this case in your 2nd house of finances, of self-worth, values, skills, and your 3rd house from 2020, which is your mind, your communication, your immediate environment, surroundings, writing, etc., feels like work without the reward, because that's how Saturn works. The rewards come in later. So these areas of your life from 2017 to 2020, your self-worth, value, skills, monetary possessions, and from 2020 to 2023, your mind, your communication, writing, your immediate environment, siblings will be worked upon by Saturn, will be put in order by Saturn, and you will be required to put in that work. And sometimes it may feel like nothing's happening, that you're stuck, that there are delays, but things are happening, and the rewards come once Saturn almost leaves or has left for a good year or so. So that's the energy, Sagittarius, of Saturn right now. Now, the second thing I want to touch upon, we'll talk about Saturn first, and then we'll talk about the other planets. Now, in December of 2020, Saturn and Jupiter met up. They met up at 0 degrees of Aquarius, which makes it your third house. And there was a new beginning for you in matters connected to your thinking, your mind, your communication, writing, peer groups, siblings, immediate environment. There was a new beginning. And this new beginning will stay with you for 20 years. Now, Sagittarius, 0 degrees of Aquarius can lay in your second house or your third house, depending where your rising sign starts. So you will need to check your chart to know which house it lies in. Now, if it's in your third house, that new beginning will be in the areas that I mentioned. If it is in your second house, this new beginning for you, Sagittarius, will be in your monetary possession, skills, self-worth, values, and finances. And it will stay with us for 20 years, this new beginning. It's a 20-year cycle. And in the next 2 years, Sagittarius, whatever this beginning was for you, whether in your second house or third house, you will lay the foundation for the next 20 years and the next 2 years. Okay, so that's another thing that's happened. And this happened in December of 2020, Sag. Okay, let's talk about another thing Saturn related. Saturn and Pluto met up at 22 degrees of Capricorn. Now, 22 degrees of Capricorn will most likely, not always, most likely lie in your second house. Now, that was a powerful, powerful material shift in your house of material wealth, your values, your skills, your self-worth, all these things. And this new powerful shift that happened in Jan of 2020 will last till 2053. So a new cycle began for you, Sag, when it comes to your self-worth, values, skills, finances, and monetary possessions. A powerful beginning. And it'll shift your material reality connected to the areas that I mentioned in a powerful way. And by now, that understanding should have fully kicked in what that shift was. However, we will still build. We will still build. And I believe we will build that base for the next 2 to 3 years at least. But that was related to your second house, Sag. Now, moving on to the next Saturn-related thing. Now, this is the most important event of 2021, and it will move on to 2022 as well, is the Saturn-Uranus square. Okay? Now, Saturn and Uranus square basically demands us to get rid of old things, old thought patterns, old anything, and embrace the new. And it also asks us to embrace our authentic self, find our truth, embrace our uniqueness. And Sagittarius, this energy for you will highlight matters associated with your third house and your sixth house, right? Because the two planets are there. Now, what that means is areas associated with your mind, your thinking, your communication, your immediate environment, your surroundings on one hand, and your health, your job, your day-to-day routine, your exercise, your diet, on the other hand, will be highlighted by this energy. It will be in these two areas that I mentioned, in these two houses, that this tug of war between the old and the new, between finding your unique, authentic self, will take place for you, Sagittarius. And you'll feel this energy very intensely all of 2021 and even in 2022. And this energy will ask you to change certain things, old ways of being, and it will ask you to embrace your unique self. For example, this is just an example. Saturn-Uranus square in these two houses might ask you to get rid of an old way of thinking, your mind, third house, to embrace a new way of thinking. Or it may ask you to change your immediate surroundings. Your old surroundings might not work for you anymore. you may need to adjust to a new surrounding. Or connected to your job, maybe you need to change your job. Maybe you need to do some changes in your health habits so that they serve you now. These are just examples, but these are the ways in which this energy will show itself. Now, Sagittarius, we have spoken about Saturn, okay? Now, this is a 3-year cycle. So this theme of working hard for 3 years, when it comes to your mind, thinking, communicating, writing, editing, computer programming, immediate environment, siblings, all those sort of things will last till 2023. And since Saturn is opposing your 9th house, it will also ask you to think about and put in order or work towards your belief system, higher education, foreign travel. Okay. Now let's talk about Uranus. We'll talk about Uranus, then we'll talk about Jupiter, Neptune, Pluto, all these things, because these are the underlying energies that are working for you. Uranus here is in your 6th house. Now Uranus basically wants one thing from us, to put it very simply. It wants us to be our authentic self. Now for that purpose, it will break anything, get rid of anything that's not in alignment with your authentic self. And it can, on the other hand, bring in things that will push you to being your authentic self. And Uranus is a 7-year cycle almost. So it's going to be transiting your 6th house for 7 years. And it started in 2018 and 2019, beginning around then. So say 2019, and it will stay till 2026 in your 6th house. So what essentially this means is that Uranus, by getting rid of things or bringing in things connected to your job, your day-to-day routine, your diet, your health, your exercise, all these things will in some way, shape or form propel you towards being your unique self. It might get rid of certain things in these areas. For example, it might get rid of a habit that's preventing you from being your authentic self. Could be as simple as that. Or it might bring in a job opportunity for you that will be more in alignment with who you actually are. So this is a 7-year energy, and Uranus is sudden, it's unexpected, it's unconventional. So all these things that are taking place in your 6th house might just be unexpected, unconventional, and quite sudden. So that's going to be there for another 5 years. Now, let's talk about Neptune. Okay, now Neptune is an even slower cycle. Neptune here is in your 4th house, Sag. Now, wherever Neptune is, 2 things can happen. One, it really connects you with the higher realms, the other realms, with spirituality, or it can even make you a recluse of sorts. It can isolate you, or it can also cause addictions. It can cause delusions. It can cause depression. Okay, and Neptune has been in Pisces since 2011. It still has a few more years to go before it changes signs, which means it will stay in your 4th house for quite some more time, few years. And what this means, that Neptune has been transiting your 4th house since 2011. So since 2011, 2 things could be happening, because Neptune works in 2 very distinct ways. One, through your emotions, through your family, through your foundation, through your roots, through your ancestors, through where you come from, it might connect you with the higher realms. It might connect you with the spiritual world. Or on the other hand, through your deepest emotions, through your family, through your foundation, through where you come from, it might cause some sort of delusion in those areas. You might feel deluded about your emotions. You might feel deluded about your home, your family, your foundation, all these things. There can be certain depression and isolation associated with these areas as well. That's how Neptune works. So just be mindful of that. And the Neptunian energy can be manifested positively by not indulging in escapism, by not indulging in addiction or drugs or delusions. And embracing the spirituality. So that's Neptune. And then let's talk about Pluto, Sagittarius. Pluto right now is in your second house. It has been in your second house since 2008. And Pluto is a planet of spiritual transformation. It is a planet that destructs. It's the planet that begins new things. It's the planet of healing, of catharsis. With Pluto, it's a complete transformation. Complete. And this is a slow-moving energy. From 2008 to about 2023, 2024, it is going to be in Capricorn, which means in your second house. So it's a very slow transition that's taking place, and it's a very subconscious process. Pluto is hidden. It works in our subconscious. But for you, Sagittarius, since 2008, it has been subtly really transforming, changing up things connected to your self-worth, your values, your skills, and your monetary possessions. And Pluto does not feel easy because it demands you to end something in a powerful way, complete ending of something, so that you can begin something. It asks for complete transformation. It asks for purification. And that process does not feel easy. So Pluto still has some time, and then it'll enter your third house, Sag. But till 2023 at least, you will have Pluto in your second house. But again, do check your rising sign degree where it starts. That will tell you where Pluto is right now, your second house or third house. Okay, that's Pluto. Now, let's talk about Jupiter. Jupiter, Sagittarius, has entered your fourth house. It entered your fourth house on May 13th, 2021. Now, wherever Jupiter is, it brings with it healing, it brings with it blessings, it brings with it rewards, but it also brings with it lessons. Now, since May 13th, those blessings, rewards, lessons are coming to your emotions, your deepest emotions, your family, your foundation, your home. And this will be the case for the next 1 year. And Jupiter is a 12-year cycle. So it takes 12 years to come back to the same house. Now you are receiving this healing, these blessings, these gifts connected to your deepest emotions, home, family, foundation after 12 years. So that's what it's going to do. And then, since I want this video to be a little longer so that you can get an idea of at least 2 more years, by 2022, it will enter your fifth house, and then it will give you blessings, it will give you rewards connected to love, romance, children, creativity from 2022 to 2023. So that's that. That's Jupiter. And let me also mention a few more things that I forgot to mention. That Saturn here is a 28 to 30 year cycle. So once it puts things in order for a particular house, in this case, your immediate environment, your siblings, your mind, communication, thinking, writing, all these things, the base is set for the next 28, 30 years that Saturn comes back. So when Saturn makes changes in a particular area of your life, in a particular house, those changes are long term, 28 to 30 years. Like Jupiter is a 12-year cycle, so you'll receive those gifts, receive those blessings, although in a different manner, but it happens after 12 years. Neptune, where's Neptune? I believe is over 160 years, almost, give or take. I don't remember exactly. 160-year cycle. So it's a rare thing for Neptune to transit any house, right? We will only see Neptune go maybe halfway through in a particular lifetime if we live till in our 80s. And Uranus is an 84-year cycle. So again, Uranus will, maybe if we live past 84, only then will we see Uranus come back into a particular house. And Pluto is a 248-year cycle. So you can imagine how slow this energy is, and when it transits a house or hits a planet, it's a once-in-a-lifetime event, or once in many lifetimes. Because 248 years, I mean, that's a long time, right? So that's one thing I wanted to mention, to put these transits in context. You know, these events are rare, especially Pluto and Neptune. Wherever they are, certain themes in our life will be defined for years. In this case, I think it's spending 16 years in the sign of Capricorn. Now, Neptune will also spending something like 15 years, 14, 16 years in the sign of Pisces. Uranus is spending 7 years. Saturn is a 3-year cycle. Jupiter is a 1-year cycle. So the underlying base for certain years, 16 years, can be the same. This is not to scare you. This is to give you the information so that you can understand which areas of your life are changing. Now, have you missed out on anything? I've done Saturn, I've done Jupiter, I've done Pluto, Neptune, Uranus. Let's talk about Chiron. Now, Chiron is a slow-moving energy as well. Chiron is our deepest wound, but it's also how we heal. Now, Chiron's healing comes in a bittersweet way. It heals us by wounding us more. You know, Chiron makes us reach a point where we say, it used to bother me, not anymore. I'm not numb, I'm not indifferent. No, I've not stopped caring. It just doesn't bother me. I've healed. I've healed, that's why it doesn't bother me. Yeah, it was very painful. I kept receiving that wound again and again and again. But now I've reached a point where I've healed. And that for you, Sagittarius, is in your 5th house of love, romance, children, and creativity. It's healing you in those areas, but it feels bittersweet. It feels like you're actually being wounded, but you're healing. And it'll stay here for quite some time. Now we will talk about the nodes. The North Node is in Gemini, the South Node is in Sag, in your sign, Sagittarius. So it becomes important that we discuss this. So let's talk about the nodes now. So let's talk about the South Node first. And if you have a lot of personal planets in Sagittarius, you'll feel this more intensely. But the South Node is basically a karmic sweep up. It's an 18.5-year cycle, right? The nodal cycle, 18.5 years. So the South Node is in this placement after 18.5 years. It was here between 2001 and 2003. Okay? So whatever karmic stuff that needs to be cleared out, connected, which happened back then as well, will be cleared out. The South Node will clear it out. And it's also an activator. So if there's some karmic stuff that needs to be activated, then it'll activate that as well. So if you have your Sun there, if you have your Mercury there, if you have your Venus in Sag, if you're a Sag, then you'll feel this karmic cleanup, this karmic activation very, very intensely. And this is going to go on till next year, till 2022. And this is your 1st house. So it is very closely connected to who you are, your identity, your leadership, who you're becoming. Okay? And like I said, if you have personal planets there, you'll feel this more intensely. Now let's talk about the North Node. The North Node is again here after 18.5 years. And this is an activation point. It'll activate karmic things. It's where we're supposed to go. And in this case, it's activating your house of marriage, relationships, business partnerships. So it'll bring karmic matters associated with those areas of your life, and it has been doing that since May of 2020. And it will continue to do so till next year. And after 2022, Sagittarius, the nodes will shift signs and they move anti-clockwise. They move in this direction. So they move clockwise and all the other planets move anti-clockwise. They go against the movement of all the planets. So the nodes will enter the sign of Scorpio and Taurus, right? Next year. And now then the karmic activation and the cleanup will be connected to your 12th house and your 6th house, which means the 12th house is your spirituality, subconscious mind, the past coming to an end. Drugs, delusions, lies, addictions, all those things. And the 6th house is the house of the health and the job. So from 2022 onwards, the nodes will begin to activate and clean up karmic stuff from these two areas of your life. I just thought I'd mention it to you because that's what's coming up. But again, I'm going to mention, check where your rising sign starts. Okay? Check that. Because the houses can change depending on where your rising sign starts. So we've done the nodes, we've done Uranus, we've done Chiron, Neptune, Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto, the nodes. In this video, I am not going to talk about Mars, Venus, Sun, Mercury, and the Moon, because these are personal planets and they move very fast and they do not set the base for long-term events. These are the long-term energies. But before we go Sag, let me also talk about some other things for you, because the nodes are in your sign, right? The South Node is there. So the South Node is here and the North Node is here, which means we've been having eclipses since December of 2020 in the Sag and Gemini axis, right? Now, these eclipses, if you are a rising Sag, and I would definitely recommend going with your rising sign, but watch your sun sign also, because that will give you some insights as well. So the nodes have been in this placement, which means the eclipses are karmic points, right? Karmic activation points. So for you, very powerfully, what will come to light with these eclipses starting in December of 2020 are things connected to you, your identity, who you are becoming, your leadership, your appearance, and on the other hand, your relationships, the serious relationships, not like love, romance that are short-term, no. These are the serious legal relationships. Romance starts in the 5th house and becomes legal with marriage in the 7th house. So these are the legal relationships, including marriage, including your business partnerships, including your legal issues. These two areas will be karmically activated in a very powerful way, especially because the eclipses are there as well. So I think I've covered pretty much everything. Now, if I've missed something out, I definitely have not done it on purpose. But I believe I have covered everything at least till 2023. You know, because I have told you where Jupiter is going to be till 2023. I have told you where the nodes are going to shift into your 12th and 6th house. So this video will definitely get you by till 2023. But mind you, this is the overall background stuff that's happening. Okay, month to month things will change because Mercury, Venus, Mars will shift, Mercury will shift. All that's going to happen. And I hope this video helped you in some way. So I really hope it did, because that was why I made it. And I do request you to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. And if there's anything else you want to know that you want me to make a video on, do let me know and I'll try to make that happen. So have a great day, Sag, and I will see you in one of my other videos. Bye.